Hi everyone, this is Tapiwa from Youth Reformation, and in this episode I am here with a special guest. Her name is Jazz, and Jazz, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jazz Louise. I'm 12 years old. My birthday's on July 22. And, well, I will just be talking about my experience of my school life. Yeah.
Okay, so Jazz, you're 12 years old. We're gonna talk something big. I mean, this is like schooling, and we're gonna go into the experience that you've had with school. So tell me something. Obviously, your earliest experience with school, what was that like?
Well, like, maybe for me in the beginning, very obviously, I thought it would be maybe something perfect somewhere where it's a nice place to socialize. But there was so much, of course, in every school there will be drama no matter what. But we just have to learn from those mistakes that we did also. And it's sometimes hard to like socialize with others and make friends too because other people can like bully you and all, but then there's like gonna be a day where you guys will become friends. Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let me reverse you back a little bit. So you always kind of more or less thought like, hey, school's gonna be great because it's a place to socialize. Now, are you the only child in your family?
Yes, I am an
Okay,
only child.
so firstborn, only child, first and last born, basically, right? And so okay, so school. So you were looking forward to school, right?
Yes.
So what was then now the reality of your experience in school? Did you enjoy it? What was the ups? What was the downs?
Well, of course, yeah. I really did really enjoy my first experience of school, but it's just when it gets more into the school years and everyone just grows up and changes. So of course it would definitely be hard because you also like change yourself, which it could make you as like an easy like happy person staying the same and all, and others are like getting into a bad personality, I would kind of say. But of course everyone sometimes mostly stays the same as they are.
Okay, and this was a public private school, right? That was your first experience.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know, and we're glad because your mom is here. I know at some point you also then had a taste of homeschooling, and that's something that I really want us to get deep into because, in your opinion, now what's the big difference between homeschooling and let's say private school, public school?
Right. Well, of course, everyone has different perspectives and like different like opinions on them, but this is just going to be my side, of course. I won't be talking for anyone but myself. So, for of course, public schools that's what I'm going to be starting with. It honestly, in my opinion, it's very nice, but it's also hard because sometimes there could be teachers that maybe get mad at you and all too much, and there will be so much fights. But in private schools, like only for an example, if it's a Christian schools, yes, there is how I experienced it. There was so much cussing, like very badly, and too much drama, and it really like made my mental illness, which is my anxiety, way much worse. It got me very distracted. So much teachers push us very hard to really get to the top, not ever go down. But then that's when I wondered, why don't I try homeschool again? Because it's like a back and forth situation where I'm going to school and then I'm staying home.
Okay.
But then in homeschool, of course, it makes you more independent, which sometimes some others are like, oh, these kids are just only staying at home. They'd be maybe getting distracted and getting lower grades. But once you really get into like homeschool, it honestly makes you stay more focused, and it could also make like help you change and get you to get your mental illness more down, and it could make you healthy more, so then at least you won't have to deal with no drama, you won't have to worry much, and yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned something that's very interesting there because obviously, and again, you're only 12 years old.
Yeah.
So even by the age of 12, in a schooling system, a traditional, typical schooling system, you'd been already exposed to the pressures of, let's say, achievement and attainment and that. And of course, that has a toll on you mentally because now you're having those stress levels and you have to deal with that. Now, did any of, let's say, your peers or your friends experience the same? That you noticed like, you know what? Yeah, a lot of kids are being impacted by this.
Well, honestly, there are a few friends that I have been connected with from old schools and some here in my new school. And there there are a couple of friends, of course, that had to face mental illness, which of course it hurts me, but when they told me what they were working on, like math, science, any subject, I honestly felt very, very bad for them because, of course, I didn't know what to do. But when they just told me, they they started really crying a lot, and they didn't know what to do. Then called me, told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Honestly, like you should definitely have to pray about it and see what God does for you." Because no one cannot fix your problems except God.
Okay, okay. And so now, obviously, you did the move from public school, private public school, to homeschooling. And you mentioned some of the benefits there, like, hey, you kind of get the independent side, which maybe you then learn self-management through that, or some of these skills that you have to learn through that. But what would you say was the greatest thing then that contributed to like significant mental health easing of kind of like, okay, I'm getting a bit of relief now. What's that thing that kind of makes that key difference in those two?
Well, honestly, I think the key to it, like, of course, there's so much people with mental illness, but it's honestly, there would be a very, like, kind of a huge more difference to it. But I think that, oh my goodness, it's so hard to say, but honestly, the advice that I would mostly give for them for the mental illness is to not have much pressure and to take a step back and to relax and think first before you do anything, before schoolwork, and just calm down, take a breath, take a stretch, and pray to God. And yeah.
Okay, okay. So what is your favorite thing about homeschooling?
My favorite thing about homeschooling is that it really just teaches me very well. First, of course, it gets me to be more independent. But maybe a few people think that, oh, it gets you more distant to others. It doesn't make you go outside and play and everything else. But that is true, but there are other kids out there who like mostly get active and play outside and get some air, walk around. And honestly, like in homeschool, what I like really like about it is um, there are some websites in homeschool where the teachers are like, oh, you don't have to worry about this. You just have to finish before like the year ends before school, and they don't pressure you. They give you much more time, even though like for me, I'm in a virtual homeschool, so it is very different. It isn't like those other ones where that it's just independent work. But also homeschool gives you like, yeah, it gets you more healthy. You don't have any mental illness, barely anything to worry about, but just stay focused, stay on top. There's no one there to push you very hard to your limits, to just be like, oh, like you have to get this done, or something that you have to participate in. Yes, you do have to participate in something in virtual homeschool, but it's, well, honestly, yeah, you just have to learn from like the things that you have to do on yeah, homeschool, but like yeah, you just definitely have to learn the things there in homeschool with all the subjects.
Okay. And what made your family or what made your mom decide to go for homeschooling for you?
Well, actually, surprisingly, she didn't make that decision for me.
Okay.
I was the one that actually asked her, and I was actually having some doubts that she would actually say no. But there was this day where I told her that from my private school, I was getting bullied, framed, and just people, of course, maybe I did something to them that I don't remember, that I am sorry about, of course, because people, I get it. It's hard to open to others because it's when sometimes they could also lie to you and make up a story that you have done, but you never have done it because, you just have to keep the past there and all. But I really went through so much hard stuff there at schools. I thought it would be a perfect place, but no, yeah, the only thing that was worth it is making friends, socialing out there with teachers and friends, and yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, if let's say there is another, let's say, kid that is in, or young person that is in traditional school, maybe going through a lot, and they're thinking about, hey, maybe going to homeschool, what would you say to them?
Honestly, if they would get to homeschool, but if they haven't experienced an in-person school, I would honestly, nicely, and kindly would say that they should first try to face the time to go to an in-person school to know what it feels like. Because if you go straight to homeschool, which isn't a bad thing to do right away, which honestly, if you would experience that for the first thing, I wouldn't really say that it would be isolating yourself, but it's just you're not giving yourself a chance to make new friends, socialize, talk to them, eat lunch with them, play with them, like yeah, and find a new hobby that you like with them. But yeah, the only thing that I would say to them is you should definitely try um yeah, in-person school to just experience the things that other people have to experience. But if you would prefer to definitely go to homeschool, then that is your choice because there is nothing that other people can convince you to do this or that, to either do the both, because well, it's your life, your decision. But if that decision isn't like good enough for a parent or for someone that is taking care of you and that they know what's right for you, then you should just, listen to them. So, yeah.
Okay. So what would you say then to the parents? Because oftentimes for parents, they're trying to really figure out what is best. And it's not often that as a parent you get to hear the experience of someone who's been to both. Because remember, most people never get to go to both.
Yeah.
It's either they just are raised and you get to go to traditional school, or you're raised and you're in homeschooling. So for a parent that maybe is just, not even aware of what kids go through, like you shared some of these things. Yeah, what would you advise? I know you're not a parent, obviously, but
Well, what I would, of course, say to the parent, I would think that I would tell them, why don't, no, did anything happen to you back then in your past that you went through, that do you want your own child to go through what you've been through, which is the bullying, the frame, the cussing out, or getting hurt, or getting stabbed in the back by friends that aren't even true friends? Yeah, that I would definitely ask. But of course, the parents, they went through different paths that we don't know, that we don't need to know about. But of course, all parents, they have their own stories their background stories, their sad stories that we should definitely get to know about, because we don't know what our parents have been through at all. I know most kids out there, they probably don't ever wonder about what their parents have ever gone through. But them as kids, they should definitely ask their parents what they have gone through, so then they know their experience in homeschool or either an in-person school. But I know most parents have definitely went through in-person school, but the only advice I would probably give to them is like just at least give your child a try on what they would like to experience. And if they didn't like it, then they can go back to to the thing that they wanted to do. So.
All right. So then, if you had to describe the biggest difference between homeschooling and traditional schooling in one sentence,
In one sentence.
what would it be? In one sentence, if you could describe the difference between homeschooling and traditional schooling.
Well, oh my goodness, that's actually very hard. I think I would really tell the difference for just just the bullying and the
Okay.
framing and getting in trouble and doing things that you don't feel like that you want to do, but people just force you to do it. But even though that they force you, you shouldn't do it. Yeah.
Okay, so the experience of peer pressure. Okay, that makes sense. Well, Jazz, this has been awesome. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say. LJ is with us as well. LJ, share with us your experience as a parent through this journey.
Sure. The homeschooling, the question for her, if like, homeschooling or in person, I would prefer homeschooling because one of the advantage is you can bring it wherever you go. That's one of the advantages that I like about homeschooling for the children.
Okay, so for you as a parent, because obviously that will come with some level of sacrifice because now you have full responsibility for Jazz's schooling.
Yes.
So how do you juggle that, or how would you advise parents that maybe are thinking, okay, you know what, let me try it out, but maybe they may feel overwhelmed at the thought of, so how do I actually do this?
Just gotta pray. I'm a single mom, and I am thankful for my family that they got to help out in taking care of Jazz while she is in homeschooling. I still live with my mom. Sometimes I bring her to our office in my work because it's a family business. So at least like she can go with us, and I think that's the good thing that I can bring her to our office so she can do her homeschooling stuff over
Okay. And finally, do you see a big difference in your daughter? Like Jazz public school and Jazz homeschool?
there. Yes, because like what she said, when she was in-person school, there's a lot of dramas, but like with homeschooling, no dramas. Like if she will have drama, maybe it's just by herself. I'm just kidding. That's the big difference that I've seen. And also with the grades, being responsible and doing her homeworks and stuff. And also same thing with house chores, because I don't know if they teach that in-person school. With homeschooling, we get to teach her how to do laundry or washing of dishes. So yeah, that's the big difference.
Now, so you pick up life skills.
Yes.
And even like just basic home skill. Okay,
Yep,
nice,
yep.
nice. Okay. Anything else you want to share, ladies, before we close?
Well, for me, to those out there, honestly, the only thing more that I have to say is never doubt yourself. I've always doubted myself when I was in a in-person school, but it's just, I get it. There's a lot of people out there with so much different personalities that could get you to trust them, that could get you too attached. And just to let you know, never get too attached, never trust someone truly and deeply right away, because not everyone can be your friend. But even though it is always good to have friends, definitely, but honestly, I would 100% say that right now in an in-person school like before, then leaving that school, it made me feel something very different, that this is a new chapter, a new beginning for myself, for me trying something that I've experienced before but not in a long time. So homeschool can really absolutely 100% change you for who you are. It could help you, yes, as what my mother has said. It helps you more helping around the house, but you shouldn't also just stay in the house just cleaning always. But yes, you do have to help, just not always stay inside the house, but at least get some sunlight and breathe in that air, you know what I mean? And honestly, God will help everyone find their way to where they have to be, because when you're in a position that you're put in a public school, like, oh, this doesn't feel right, or if you're in a homeschool and you're saying, oh, this definitely feels right, then, well, that's where God has leaded you to be.
Okay, well, thank you. And, just in closing, another thought for us is always remember that the home is always meant to be the best learning place. Because ultimately, as young people grow up, they become homeowners or people that run their own homes. And those kind of skills are things that we take with us in any sphere of life. And they make us into, how can I put it, responsible adults and citizens and whatever else you want to call it. And so, if schooling is something that's really something that's been heavy on your heart, and maybe you're going through something difficult as well, please reach out. But always know that as a young person, if you're going through something in school, talk to your parents. Jazz was able to talk to her mom and say, hey, mom, this is what's going on and this is what I'm going through. And as a parent, be brave enough to take the bold step to, let me prioritize my child's health. And especially nowadays, also our mental health is so key. So I want to thank you, Jazz. I want to thank you, LJ. It's been a blessing having you both. And may God continue to bless you through that homeschooling journey. Can't wait to see how that develops and grows. And like Jazz said, homeschooling does not mean you're staying indoors all the time. You also got to get that sunlight, okay? And fresh air.
Yep.
All right. So until next time, thank you, everybody.